What is up, OMG Nation? So in today's episode, I am out at the IMS Outdoor Show in Lebanon, Tennessee. You know, the very first booth, the very first event section I have to stop at is Harley-Davidson. My guys up at Moonshine Harley-Davidson told me I needed to come out here today and make sure that we represented over here in Lebanon, Tennessee. This is a very large event. Let's get to it. All right, how do you get the navigation? Now, there we are. I was just trying to pull up the nav. I got it though. Okay. Thanks. Yep. Make sure your visor's down. Yeah. All right. So on a street glide, 114. Ooh, let's fix my mirrors real quick. All right, now we're back to my blinkers on my left and right side. I kind of like that a lot better. It's kind of amazing once you're used to something. It's just an odd feeling for certain. So this is my first experience riding a street glide. I've been on road glides before several times. I've never been on a street glide before. I've ridden the 114s. They got some get up and go. Truck driving school in case I get lost. I think I like the Batwing fairing. I reached back for the hill shifter that wasn't there. So that's something that's different for me. I'm used to that hill shifter being there. It's easier for me to switch in the neutral with the hill shifter. That's just because of what I'm used to. I mean, I could get used to not having one as well. That's the thing about all of these. To me, it's a first impression ride more than it is a test ride, because I mean, it's the Harley-Davidson lineup, and you know, these bikes, they just handle great, but it's also compared to what you're used to. I'm going from a 2006 Harley-Davidson Fat Boy to a brand spanking new street glide with a 114 on it. So everything's different. Even the comfort level's even different. I don't know why this guy sped up to get in front of me to slow down. That's your typical Tennessee rider. Driver, Tennessee driver. Let's see how this street glide takes these railroad tracks, and they took it pretty well. That's for good. That's for sure. Woo! Street glide's got some get up and go, baby. All right, slow it back down. I'm sure that the local law enforcement community probably knows that people are doing demo rides on motorcycles out here, and they might just be out here just try to make sure that everybody's in check and not doing 90 through here. So I'll roll with the speed limit here. Man, this 114 has some pickup. I mean, this 114 has some pickup, baby. I like it. You know what? Even this little shield right here, this visor, it's not that big of a deal. I can see right over the top of it. I'm not really getting too much wind, the buffeting, I'm not really getting too much of that at all. There's nothing pushing back on me. The wind's not pressing back on my chest like when you ride a fairingless bike. That's for certain. Just pull on out there in front of me, brother. Back across the tracks. It's not crazy bumpy. I can tell why there's such a huge debate between the road glide and the street glide, because this is a comfortable riding bike right here. I mean, you could lay down some serious miles on a bike like this right here. Put you a little backrest piece back here and just hang loose, baby. All day, every day. It's the comfortable. This seat is comfortable in the street glide. I like this color too, man. This is a good looking color. Uh-oh, what's happening to me? Am I being persuaded by the street glide? Here's that truck driving school right here. All right, guys, so I'm finishing up my street glide demo here at the IMS Outdoors in Lebanon, Tennessee. So what bike am I going to choose next? We'll see. I can sit here and ride Harleys all day long. I probably should have got here at 9 o'clock in the morning. You're not wearing a helmet, brother. On your little trike wheel. Whatever the heck that thing was. Good.
I was right.
It was good.
Good. You're all good. What's next for you?
I'm not sure yet.
All right.
Alright guys, so that was my first impression ride of the 2021 Street Glide Special. That's the first time I've ever ridden a Street Glide, period, any type of Street Glide. So I want to give you a breakdown. I got some notes right here, and I'll refer back to these as I'm giving you a breakdown. It's just 10 little points. Let's start with number 1. For me, for a first impression, the Street Glide, the unit, the head unit, if I needed to use the head unit at all, it was easy to use. It was very easy for me to reach over, touch the home button, and quickly find the navigation so I knew what street I was on and I knew when my turn was coming. Number 2 is going to be for the stock Fahrenheit. I'm 5'10". I have, just so you know, I have legs that belong on somebody that's like 6'3" or 6'4" or something. I have a shorter torso, and I've always called it all my life Mexican short body. I've got the Hispanic side. My Hispanic genes took over from about here up, and so I've got a shorter torso and I've got these long legs, and I must have got that from my dad's side of the family. It was real easy, just the riding position that I was in. It was extremely easy for me to see over the top of the fairing. It was extremely easy for me to see over the top of the stock windshield. So number 3 would be the stock mirrors, where they sat on the ends of the fairing. When I moved them and positioned them where I could see beside me, I could actually see beside me. It did not catch my shoulders at all. And for me, with my hands sitting right here and looking into the mirrors and not seeing my arms or my shoulders, actually seeing the traffic on both sides that's coming up next to me, that was a huge plus for me. Going back to kind of number 2 as far as the stock fairing went, and we'll say number 4 is going to be the riding position that the Street Glide Special was in, stock, not changing anything, not changing the floorboards, not adjusting the handlebars. The stock riding position for me felt extremely comfortable on the Street Glide Special. There was nothing where, if I was going to lay down a bunch of miles and crush a bunch of miles, that felt like that I would be in a position where my shoulders hurt, my traps hurt, or my arms were tired. It was just in a good position. You got to remember, when they send these bikes out stock, they're kind of guessing, because they don't know if you're going to be 5'1" or if you're going to be 6'9" riding these bikes. So for them to hit that 5'10" with long arms, long legs, and a short torso, you know, that was a huge plus and a huge win for me. So on number 5, staying with that riding position, the handlebars, as far as the placement of the way that my wrist sat you know, they sit in like this or they sit straight like that. There was kind of somewhere in between, and it was not in a position where I felt like that I was riding like this at all, or that I had to hunch down, or I felt like they were too high like some giant apes or anything like that. So that would be number 5. They were in the stock handlebar position was in a good position. Number 6, and this one was huge to me because I've always heard the reasons, you know, on the big debate, the road glide versus the street glide. I've always heard the Batwing fairing versus the road glide fairing. A fairing that is attached to the fork, so when you're moving the handlebars, the fairing turns with the bars. You saw probably when I made a turn that I turned the bars. I turned them on purpose just to see what was going to happen, to see if the bike ever felt heavy. The big debate with the road glide and the street glide is that the fixed fairing that never moves on that road glide, that you're just turning the bars and the forks, and it's supposed to feel lighter and it's supposed to be lighter. With the street glide special, the street glide, not one single time did that street glide ever feel heavy when I went to turn in a turn. I kind of did a slow speed half U-turn and was working the throttle, the friction zone. Not one time did that bike ever feel heavy like it was going to tip over. So I felt like it was balanced very well, and there was not any added weight from that Batwing fairing. So number 7, this was a complete surprise to me. The stock seat on the Street Glide Special, it was comfortable. It was extremely comfortable. I was riding on that seat, and I went across some railroad tracks, and I knew, you know, you're going across railroad tracks on 2 wheels. It's not going to take it like a 4-wheel car with some type of magnetic ride control or something, or souped up shocks. Just the stock shocks on that, and the actual riding in the seat just felt comfortable. It felt like that I could lay down a ton of miles before my backside ever started getting to a point where it was uncomfortable feeling. So that was a huge plus for me as well. Number 8, little to no wind buffeting. I didn't feel anything pressing on my helmet like it was trying to pull my chin up. And I never, not one single time, felt any wind pressure on my chest. I never felt like I was in a position where I had to hold on a little bit, where my hands were starting to fatigue because I was holding onto the handlebars and the grip so tight, because it felt like I was trying to hold myself on the bike, like when I'm on my Fat Boy, my 2006 Fat Boy, without a fairing. Depending on, the faster I go, the more it feels like the wind's just trying to throw me off the back of the bike. Never felt it one time, so there was no additional head, neck, or back, or hand fatigue. Another huge plus for me for that Street Glide. So number 9, the 114. The Street Glide Special had the 114 in it. The weight of the Street Glide Special, the 114 had 0 problems getting up and going. I felt like that if I was ever to get into a predicament where I needed that extra power, and as soon as I rolled on that throttle, it was pretty quick. As far as I rolled the throttle and that bike took off, and if I was in a situation where I need to, oh, this guy's kind of pulling out on me, boom, and I hit that throttle, bam, I was out of the way. You like those? You like my little sound effects? Boom, bam, yeah. I don't know why I did that. That's a little ridiculous. But hey, you know, I'm ridiculous. And finally, number 10, going back to that main debate, the road glide versus the street glide. That Batwing fairing never made me feel like I was not in control of that motorcycle. It was kind of the exact opposite. I felt like I had total control over that Street Glide Special at all times. It was a bike that felt so balanced to me. It was very comfortable to ride. My feet on the ground at a stopped position felt comfortable. I was not tippy-toeing. I was flat-footed, both feet from the stock riding height. Again, 5'10", a little bit extra long legs, but I had a nice bend in my knees. I wish I would have shown it or had somebody film me just so you could see me sitting there, but I didn't. I was very impressed with this Street Glide Special. Like I said, that's the first Street Glide I've ever ridden in my entire life. And I did have some preconceived notions, and I tried to make sure that I cleared my mind and just took my first impression, so to speak. I just don't like calling them a test ride video and then giving a review on it. This is more just, all of this is a first impression, how I felt. Could any of this change if I owned the bike and had it for 6 months? I believe so, but I also know this. The more comfortable you become on a motorcycle, the more kind of one you become with your machine. I felt like it would have been extremely possible for me to become one, so to speak, with that Street Glide Special, and always low speed maneuver drills, high speed, leaning into turns. I felt like that I would have always and would continue to become one with that bike and develop a better kind of mind motorcycle body connection. So that's it, everyone. This Street Glide Special, it seemed like a really well balanced machine to me. And remember, if you are a road glide guy, tried and true, and the road glide is coursing through your veins, and you want to get down in the comments and start screaming and yelling at me and telling me I don't know what I'm talking about, remember that everyone has an opinion. And opinions, well, you know what they're like. And some people's stinks worse than others, including mine and yours. But I truly appreciate each and every single one of you hanging out to the end of this video. If you have not already, please hit that like button. Please consider reaching over and clicking that little subscribe button and becoming a part of the OMG Nation. And do not forget about the bell icon. That way it will always notify you when I have any type of uploads and activity on this channel. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Okay.
Stall.
Oh, this is recorded, by the way.
I didn't think it wasn't recorded.
Okay. Just checking.